2020, we had COVID and we were very worried. We were at home and we found out that our personalities start to fall apart. And before we had 2019, and my presentation was the following. The labor market is experiencing difficult times. Companies desperately need capable young people, but they just can't create the right working conditions for them. Corporate cultures are failing to reflect the transformation of the human brain and interpersonal relationships of the last 2 decades. Neither the demands nor the abilities of the emerging generation of millennials meet the traditional corporate environment that took shape in the last century. Supply is thus no longer intersecting with demand, and the job interviews are increasingly looking like 2 monologues, like trying to buy LSD in a pet store. If the scissors of supply and demand continue to open at the current pace, we are facing a labor market collapse by 2030. To prevent this catastrophic scenario, 5 years ago, in autumn 2014, we locked user experience experts from Instagram and a few elderly female officials from the Ministry of Labour and Social Affairs in a room, with the understanding that we wouldn't let them out until they came up with a workable concept of the company of the future. This was successful, and that same year, without much media hype, we brought the pilot form of this company to life. Our goal was to create a work environment tailored to the emerging generation of millennials, taking into account their habits and ways of thinking and interacting, an environment that they are comfortable in and that allows them to reach their full potential. And because after 5 years of testing the results have been extremely promising, it's time to share with you the innovations that have worked best for us, so you can implement them in your company culture and lure today's fickle generation of graduates into your corporate clutches. It is my great honor and pleasure to present to you what we believe will save the labor market from collapse, to present to you the millennial-friendly firm, or MILFF. As we know, the biggest Achilles heel of the young is attention. The average attention span of a current 20-something is 4.7 seconds, which is the same as an aquarium fish with Alzheimer's. After that time interval, he starts to get distracted, starts compulsively snapping pictures, chatting and catching Pokemons around him. We wondered how to assign work tasks to such a person so that while he was still doing it, his fickle attention would not be distracted by a different stimulus. The first idea came after consultations with architects. We took our meeting rooms, which nobody used anyway, because today's young people find it useless to meet because you can't like it. We took all the furniture from the rooms, and what was left there were 4 bare walls and a projector near the ceiling. The employee had to hand over a mobile phone in a bag at door, stand on a marker on the floor, and then read the task assignment from the wall. Only practice showed us how naive we were. After a few seconds without stimuli, people started shaking uncontrollably and they started having panic attacks. Their inner demons, which until then had been kept at bay in every waking moment by constant liking of their friends' dinners, crept out into the light day. One jumped a meter into the air, snatched the projector from the ceiling, pointed it at himself and tried to take a selfie. Nearly half of the employees right at the door, when asked to put their phones down for a minute, quit. It turned out that trying to limit millennials' access to technology not only fails to increase their productivity, but is a serious threat to their mental health. We never tried the experiment again. After dozens of other experiments, the most effective way of assigning tasks turned out to be soft pornographic hentai animated music videos to which employees were able to pay attention for a full 9 seconds and remember almost a third of the assignment. Another characteristic of the young is their inability to stay on task for a longer term. Their non-functioning dopaminergic system is responsible for that. Images of their brain, which we took against their will, using violence because you can't bring a phone into an MRI, show that they have clogged dopamine receptors, which are thus prevented from being overloaded. On the left, you see a brain of a person born in the last millennium with a normal dopaminergic system. On the right is the brain of a person born in this millennium, with this system depleted by constant use of technology. The average millennial's dopamine receptor is stimulated 11 times a minute, with every new notification, every new video of a dramatic-looking groundhog. Thus, it is very difficult for a young person to find a reason to work or, in principle, to strive for anything in life that is not within the reach of a single crank. If you want to employ young people, you have to take their rundown dopaminergic system into play. You need to create a playful and exciting work environment for them, laced with dopamine splashes at every turn. Fortunately, even the biggest players in the software field have noticed this. For example, Microsoft has introduced a special line of office tools for millennials called Microsoft Dope Office, which is a wordplay because dope in English means, of course, both drug and idiot at the same time. Dope Office is full of exciting, unexpected features designed to keep you engaged with the software. Just to name a few, whenever you reach the end of a line in Dope Office Word, it will reward you with an explosion of confetti and party balloons. And about once every 30 words, a kitten pops out at you wearing a different cap each time. Thanks to this extension, our employees are able to spend up to 6 times longer in work than the average millennial, a full 90 seconds. Furthermore, we have introduced and strongly recommend you giving out medals at the end of working meetings. Just for inspiration, we have these. Quiet water grinds the shores for those who put their phones on vibrations. Iron pipe to anyone who could stand the whole meeting and not go on YouTube. A very rare window to the soul medal for the one who lasted at least 3 seconds of eye contact. And don't miss the generic medal great job for everyone, so that no one feels left out and want to come next time.
We also managed to reduce the turnover through trophies that are very popular. Our people can, for example, win the Employee of the Month trophy, Employee of the Week, Employee of the Day, Employee of the Morning, and Employee of the Afternoon. But probably the biggest motivational hurdle that we were facing was the long overcome concept of a monthly salary. It turned out that the vision of a paycheck somewhere in the distance on the 10th of the next month is no longer a strong enough incentive for a young person to go to work. So we experimented with ideas how to make the reward more continuous. And our original desktop app, Piggy, proved to be the right solution. You have the Piggy on your desktop, and if you find yourself at your work, in real time, every second, pennies rain into the Piggy in proportion to your hourly wage. The Piggy was a phenomenal success. It increased attendance by 37%, and we were ready to offer it to other companies, but unfortunately, it turned out that the Piggy also has its shitty side. Namely, the Piggy is highly addictive. That's why even Mark Zuckerberg has expressed interest in it. Employees do come to work. However, half of them only turn on their computers and never get past the desktop, never get to any work. They spend the whole day staring hypnotically at the Piggy for 8 hours. Even half of the programmers who programmed the Piggy themselves got caught in this trap. Therefore, we were forced to hire a new team of programmers, developers, users with whom we are now trying to make the piggy less attractive. We're currently testing a piggy that smiles less and instead looks slightly reproachful. And we're also testing a different color of the piggy bank, from the attractive clitoral pink to shades of gray. Another painful block in our way was communication. Communication is the inability of young people to communicate in the offline world. Communicating outside the cyberspace is challenging for them because they can't talk to just one person. After 2 sentences they get bored and look for more people. They can't show emotions because their facial muscles are stunned because of their smileys that they use. They do not use facial expressions or haptic expressions. Instead they stare on the ground and mumble something that we called an emoji Morse code, which looks like this: puppy, heart, cola, muffin, poop, ghost. Some sociologists believe that this is what a standard declaration of love will look like in 10 years. When a person exceptionally becomes bold and uses a complete sentence with a subject and a predicate, he or she tends to pause and waits for a sign that says read. In extreme cases, there are also 2-minute twitches and ticks when one tries to say the word GIF. In our MILFF, we wondered if we could just take some communication tools that young people are used to from the online world and apply them skillfully in this outdated space that we call reality, so that reality doesn't feel so alien and threatening to millennials. And we have found out that this approach works wonders. If you provide your HR people during the job interviews with sheets of sticky hearts and regularly stick them on the applicant's body, you increase the chances by 40% of them making it to the next round. If you concentrate the sticky hearts in the pelvic area, you increase the chance by 90%. And now empathy. The biggest problem that the company has been facing currently. The loss of empathy is like the epidemic. Empathy dropped by 40% in the last 10 years. If you don't meet people face to face, but only on the networks, you don't have the chance to see their emotional response, and your words and behavior are left without a response. So you don't have much empathy, much more than for characters in a computer game. When we asked our employees if they would be willing to kill somebody to get promoted, 7% answered yes. 19% answered rather yes, 15% answered I like it, and 59% lost focus. Just like you. So thank you very much. This was the best of. And yeah, enjoy the ukulele like Brno band. If they invite me next year, please put your hands together for our interpreters, the stars of this presentation, who did their best. Thank you and good night.